Hello YouTube, this is a video response to Caspa's latest video, What Do You Think About Assisted Suicide? And I'd like to start this video off by saying that I hold human life in the utmost regard, and that I think that there are very, very few situations where the loss of human life is acceptable, and it is not a tragedy no matter how minor the life is from an objective point of view. So let's jump right in with the question. Number one, is assisted suicide murder? I don't think it counts as murder because murder is killing with intent and intent to do harm, and assisted suicide is killing with the intent to relieve pain. I'm just doing the very simple by-the-book definition in this case. So I'm going to move straight on to question 2. Should anyone have the right to stop a person with a terminal illness killing themselves if they face a long and painful death? Now in that particular case, I think it's clear-cut that if someone is going to die in a short period of time, or even in a year or two, if they're 100% going to die and it will be painful, I think that it is somewhat acceptable for them to take their own life or have another do it for them if they're unable, either mentally or physically. Now, if you turn that around a little bit and say someone who is disabled, that's another matter entirely. Someone loses an arm, or if someone's horribly disfigured, but they're still physically able to get along in life, is it okay for them to kill themselves? Now, I'm going to say right now, I've faced very few hardships in my life. Sorry, that was a text message, but I really want to keep going with this. I like this run. I've faced very few hardships in my life. I live in America. I was blessed to have parents that love me, and that accepted every choice I've made in my life. I'm not well off, but I make enough money. As you can see, I collect many toys. My point is, I have never been through very hard times to say anything of them. So, I could definitely understand someone saying that they've been through hard enough times that they wish they could have died. I have no clue how much sorrow I would face in losing my extremities, my sight, my hearing, any of that. But I do believe that no matter what happens, as long as you still live, life goes on. If you're in tremendous pain, of course, if you suffer burns across your entire body and you can't do anything without pain, I think that sort of falls more into the first case of being more acceptable for assisted suicide or having someone assist you in suicide, which is the same thing. Anyway, but once again, this is a very, very gray area. So I'm going to move on to number 3. Is it right to help someone die if you love them? This is another tricky question. I said before that I don't think killing should be acceptable, but if someone is in extreme pain, how can you deny them a request like that? How can you deny their desire to have their pain ended if the only way within, medical science right now is to kill them? Yes, it's horrible that their life would end, but would they rather live their life in pain? I think it is right to help someone die if they are in extreme pain. But there are people who desire to die when they're not. Like, some people take loss of relationships so hardly that they think they should die, and I don't think that's correct. Although it's also extremely horrible that some people take the loss of loved ones as in feeling they should die, and I don't think that's correct. Yes, it's horrible that that the people that you loved are no longer here, or the woman or man that you loved is no longer in your life, or your life will go on. You know, if you let it, if you try and grow and learn from whatever happened. So, to sum that up, is it right to help someone die if you love them? If, as I sort of answered in question 2, if they're in such extreme pain and they're going to die anyway, then I think it definitely is right. Alright, number 4. Are there any situations when assisted suicide is wrong? As I sort of said in question 3, there are situations where assisted suicide is wrong, definitely. If someone has suffered a minor loss, or a loss that can be gotten over, you know, like the loss of a loved one, a parent, a lover, a close friend, it's a horrible pain to have, especially horrible because it can't be treated. You can't take Benadryl to get rid of heartache, you know, that sounded odd. But what I meant is, you can't take a pill to get rid of a heartache like you could a headache. You can't have a prosthetic limb attached to help you get over your parents' loss. But, as the saying goes, time does heal all wounds. And while that may seem callous, an emotional loss does not necessarily mean the right to end your life, because this loved one that has passed away or left you would want you to be happy if they really cared about you. This is a very heavy topic, and I realize I have giggled at some inappropriate situations, but being the person that I am, sometimes when I'm faced with odd situations, that's the way I deal with them. So if I have offended anyone with some of the way I've said things, or any mirth that I've shown, it's purely a coping mechanism for a subject that's very difficult. To sum it all up, assisted suicide is a very gray area. I think there are definitely situations where it is acceptable. And I also think, I sort of just thought of this, but I think I definitely need to get it out there. If you are alive right now, you need to let your loved ones know if you go into a coma, or are otherwise unreachable, or if you suffer brain trauma and become mentally retarded. You need to let your loved ones know what your decision is. Whether they want you to leave you on life support, or whether they want you to die, as it would be natural in that case. It's very important. It would save your loved ones a lot of grief. I know this is sort of odd to tack in on the end, but it's something that I think is important and relevant to this subject. This video has kind of been all over the place, but it's a very emotional one, and it has me kind of worked up. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope you guys have learned something from it, and I hope that, well, that this video is received well, and that this information goes over well. Thank you, YouTube. Goodbye.